What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Palantir. So what has happened so far with Palantir today has been one of the most epic reversals that I have seen in a very long time. I want to go over some of the data points, what prompted this, and just generally things that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So currently it is down 1.08%. It did have a low of 14.29, and that was largely because of a couple of different things. One of which is just the data points coming out, and obviously the repercussions of those data points and how Powell might interpret them, thus raising the rates. People are just very worried about that, which I already feel that I've said in many videos in the past that I feel it's already factored into the market already, but clearly maybe I was wrong. But technically in Palantir's case as well, I think there is a little bit more of a rollover of their AI earnings or of the C3 AI earnings that's causing a little bit more uneasiness, especially in the pre-market, but I could be wrong. As far as anything coming out from the company, there was a Form 4 that did come out. They'll touch on that came out, I guess, after hours yesterday, but no press releases, nothing like that. The Form 4 was for a director, so Alexander Moore. It did occur on September the 1st, 2023, transaction code S, so it was a straight up sell, but there was a explanation. Number one, so it does say the reporting person sold shares of common stock, Class A, in the open market pursuant to pre-existing Rule 10b5-1. So kind of normal stuff, nothing really crazy. It was 21,900 shares, but still kind of a drop in the bucket because they have almost about 1.8 million shares. So very, very high in my opinion. But technically, like I mentioned, with it going up as much as it did, it was a little bit lower for volume. So 40 million shares being traded, 55 is the average. And when it comes down to it, it's just, as you can tell, these are all the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market. So the frequency is definitely not there. And it's been like that for, I think, almost a week now. So kind of interesting stuff. I think a lot of institutions most likely are kind of just waiting to find out exactly where things might be going. Because even looking on a technical standpoint, it's kind of wedge bound, right? It's wedge bound between the 50 and 100-day moving average, and it's been like that for almost 2 weeks now. So the market is waiting for something to happen, either enough to break above that 50-day moving average, which generally when it does break above that, big things do come, or vice versa, where it trends down. So it's kind of in limbo a little bit, but right now, like I said, so institutions are just kind of watching, whereas dark pool is very, very popular. So these are all the transactions that have occurred so far today, and it is pretty active. So a lot of people always associate dark pool to kind of malicious acts or just shorting or whatever else. So I'll give you an overview of that, but there is two transactions to note from this exchange, 1.44 million and 1.24 million. So I'll give you an overview of shorts. So right now, short score is currently 45, utilization is 14.19%. And just for transparency, I'm not here to say obviously Palantir is going to have a short squeeze at all, because it's not my own opinion, of course, but definitely it's good to kind of look at this as a tool and as a benchmark. But 7.25% of the free float is being shorted, 133.17 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is just complete pennies, so 0.43%. And right now shorts are returning 523.38 thousand shares. And you can kind of tell first thing, so shorts did increase a significant amount first thing. So they clearly aided in it going down right here. So first thing, and then shortly after, this is why you can kind of look at the chart and analyze exactly what's happening. Then you see them kind of return around, looks like 15:30 GMT, so just kind of around here. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Like I mentioned, other than the Form 4 that did come out, there's a couple unofficial things that Palantir is involved with. So it does say IBM Palantir will join AI safeguard effort pushed by Biden. So of course, this is right up Palantir's kind of expertise. So definitely, I think some pretty good stuff there. And it looks like right here, so Dr. Karp was meeting with the Estonian Prime Minister on basically what they can do. And I think there was similar pictures about Finland because they recently joined NATO, if I remember correctly. I think that was floating around late last week. But still, Palantir is like taking over the world. It's absolutely crazy. So let me know your thoughts on all of this. I'm very happy to say that I did buy last week at $14.90. So it would have been nice to catch the bottom here, but I think generally based on the last couple earnings, they've really signaled on how much they are going to continue to grow. And that's definitely fairly good. Plus, technically looking on the data points and the technicals, I think there's a lot of good upside as well. But when it comes down to the technicals, with it being at $15.14, it is currently between this S1 and the pivot. And like I've mentioned already, based on the actual chart, it's just wedge bound between the 50 and 100-day moving average. And even just generally looking at this S1 to the pivot, there is a pretty wide gap. So no matter what, you just have to anticipate a lot of volatility. And even down to the low of 14.29, that wasn't even a very, very strong support. So 13.79 is the next strong support. 16.30 is the next big resistance. So most likely it's just going to continue to trade wedge bound between those 2 points until either there's a good piece of news that does come out directly from Palantir, or just something more broader fears, because September the 20th is the next Fed meeting, and that's clearly what it has a lot of people just on edge a little bit too much. But when it comes down to looking at this, momentum shows number of retail investors are getting in today. Stochastic is currently at 57, no defined trend, so it's kind of level about that. But generally, I do feel that there is a lot of upside. So yes, even though technically on the actual chart, it's kind of on the edge a little bit, so it could go either way, because right now it is actually struggling. It is in the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, but it does actually want to break higher. So like I said, it's just kind of neutral, if that makes sense. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. And also on a side note, when there is I guess a neutral technical standpoint, and yet there's a lot of volatility, which Palantir does have, that is a option trader's best friend. So honestly, I definitely say that. As far as options, speaking on that, so $5.39 million in calls being purchased versus $5.13 million in puts. And yet, if you look at a lot of the puts, majority of which were kind of when it was trending down. So if you kind of exclude those, there's a significant amount of calls. So a lot of people are anticipating for it to trend up. If you are optimistic, this shows all the calls, the strike prices, expiry dates. Based on this information, it does and is anticipated to go to roughly the 15 to 16.50 by the end of next week. So once again, I think a little bit more upside, and plus just trending within this range right here. So let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below, and give yourself a shout out if you either did buy today, or if you've been buying over the last little bit, or better yet, if you have been doing options. So if you don't know options, highly suggest in researching them, because they can be very, very beneficial. You just need to know what you're doing, because it can be very risky at times. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of amazing promos, and that is with Moomoo. Completely free to sign up for our account, plus they do offer $0 commission, free level 2 trading. But if you throw $100 at this account, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock could be valued up to $2,000. So just take advantage of this promo, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, I appreciate all of you watching.